What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today it's a back day and it's getting very close to the prep. So this probably starting Monday will be the last week of the off season. And then the prep will start around 16 weeks. And my goal is to really show you everything I do during prep, to show you exactly where I start, where I'm physique-wise in the middle, how I'm changing, and where I'm at the very end, of course, in detail, so you can actually see what kind of effort, what kind of food, training, techniques, increasing effort will do to my physique to bring that end look. But for now, we're at the start of the day, so we have some breakfast right here. Some gorgeous rice flakes actually. So this is 120 grams of rice flakes. I'm gonna train back after this in about 2 hours. So I always like to have a big, nice, easily absorbable, digestible breakfast. So the rice flakes, we have some blueberries, whey isolate, and the dark chocolate, of course, as you can see, 35 grams. Very good for a pump, also a good antioxidant, and just delicious, of course. And we also have the famous kiwi with the skin on, because that contains more vitamins and minerals relatively to the inside. So the skin on is healthier than the skin off. And I did some cardio this morning, about 20 minutes, just got out of bed, drank some water, did the cardio, and then have this breakfast. My weight right now is about 121 kilos, a very nice starting weight for the prep, so very excited. I'm gonna eat this breakfast and see you at the workout. Alright guys, it is time for the back workout. Already did some warm-ups on this exercise right here. This seal row, and look at that barbell below, the ATX barbell, a cambered barbell, allowing for some space right here to allow the pull besides the bench instead of against the bench. You will see just now when I start the first working set. So as I said, I already did some warm-ups before, just warming up the muscle, 3 or 4 warm-up sets, around first 10 reps, then 8 reps, and 2 sets of 5. And now it's time for the first working set, and this one will be going to failure, logging this lift, beating the previous lift, and doing this, I think, at least 4 times, because I increased the working sets as well. Anyway, let's do this. So this truly is an amazing exercise. It takes away a lot of the momentum from, for example, a bent over barbell row or any free weight movement where you are able to, use a bounce on the bottom to get back up. So what I'm really conscious of here is that I'm going all the way up, but when I go down, I pause for like half a second, or not even, at least pausing long enough for all the momentum to be gone at the bottom. So I have to pull from a dead point upwards. So I have to contract those back muscles entirely without any other muscles that are not supposed to be involved. So I'm not involving those. And with, for example, with a bent over row, I see a lot of people using their legs, like a leg drive to get it up, or a lot of other movements of the back where the legs play a big role, or body angles, for example. And this one just feels really amazing. You can go all the way down, stretch those lats, and when you go all the way up, you can really, bring back those shoulder blades and contract the back really hard, which just feels really amazing on the squeeze and the contraction side of this movement. So it all feels amazing, and this bar by ATX allows you to actually achieve that incredible squeeze. Alright guys, so this next set, I just did 3 working sets with the same weight, around the 10 to 12 rep range. So as I mentioned before, I increased the amount of working sets because I wasn't getting sore anymore, and you want to find the true limit of recovery, and I was able to recover quite easily from 2 working sets per exercise. So now I'm doing 4 on the first one and 3 on most others. So that's almost doubling my working set volume, but this is pretty much the limit where I'll go. Anywhere above this is just gonna impair recovery. However, I just did 3 working sets with the same weight. Now the last one will be a lighter weight, but with more reps to get an even better contraction, you know, higher rep range, feels different in the muscle and get a better pump, stuff like this. So that's why I advise different rep ranges to be able to target the muscle just a bit differently and get strong in all rep ranges, so you can actually get stronger in the higher rep range even if you don't get stronger in the lower rep range. So let's do this. So this is the 4th working set already, and in my opinion, if you feel like you're not getting anything out of another working set, then move on to the next exercise. But usually I pick the first exercise of the day to be an exercise that I get a great mind-muscle connection with. So from the first working set to the last working set, I feel the muscle very clearly. I feel the stretch, I feel the contraction, and in my opinion, the moment the mind-muscle connection starts to lessen, starts to disappear, that's when you should go to another movement. Okay guys, the next movement will be the wide grip TBar row with a golden bar, of course, for the extra anabolic effect. But yes, we're doing the wide grip TBar row. I don't like the narrow grip anymore, even though it is a very famous Arnold, Ronnie Coleman TBar row. I personally have grown fond of the wider grip, allowing for a more natural contraction and just a nicer, safer stretch. And it just feels better, so let's just do it and work on the upper back thickness. The wide grip TBar row, who doesn't love it? Well, actually, the people who haven't been able to try this out yet. But guys, if you can try this one out at your gym, definitely give it a shot, because as I mentioned before, the contraction here just feels amazing. It just, in my opinion, it feels a lot better than the closed grip. Let's do this. And you also get a much better pump here, because the contraction is better, the blood flow will be better, more blood is rushed into the back. And also, one other benefit is you use less of the biceps. The closer the grip is, usually, the more the biceps are involved. So here, of course, it's a compound movement, so the biceps will always be involved. But I want to minimize the involvement of the biceps, because I notice if you go all out on your back movements, week after week, month after month, and your form is off just a little bit, your bicep tendons will be negatively affected by all of the tension that was supposed to go to your back, but is now shifted to the biceps. That is not what you want. So I personally pick movements that I feel the back with really well and I feel the biceps with minimally, because what you want to do to grow the biceps is not make them be involved in the back movements, but actually isolate them on exercises on either after back or on another day. So I just did a few working sets with the heaviest weight, all around the 10 to 12 rep range, and now I'm doing the last working set with a lighter weight, around 80 kilograms, with this golden bar, and I'm now able to do more reps, able to concentrate even more on the squeeze, because it's a simple truth: the lighter the weight, the more easily you can achieve that squeeze and actually stay in the squeeze. Alright guys, the next movement is going to be another free weight movement, but this time with a chest support. Kind of looks like the seal row, but this time with 2 dumbbells, truly for the upper back thickness as well. So normally I would do the single dumbbell row, but now I kind of like a chest supported version more, where I use 2 dumbbells at the same time and pull backwards to really work those straps, rhomboids, the thickness that wins you shows at the Pro League. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so this is quite an amazing movement as well. The range of motion here seems a little short, but if you look closely at the back itself is doing quite a lot. So you're achieving a very nice stretch at the very bottom, because the dumbbells are pulling your arms down hard, and your arms are attached to your back, and the back, especially the lats and the rhomboids, the middle back, will be pulled down as well, allowing for a very good stretch. What you then really have to focus on is drive the elbows backwards and pull back the shoulder blades as well. You want the shoulder blades to be pulled back as far as you physically can, because that shortens the back muscles as much as possible, and that is actually what creates back thickness. It is not really the stretch that creates the back thickness, because a lot of people stretch out the back but then don't complete the full squeeze portion of the back, and that is what creates back thickness. And it has been improving over the last 2 years, since 2018 actually, and that makes a bodybuilder happy. Okay guys, next movement will be a pull-down movement, which feels great to me after already having done some rowing. I really want to work on the back thickness more and more, but the width can never be ignored. So we're going to do a VBar pull-down, or a narrow grip pull-down, whatever you want to call it. A neutral grip feels very nice. We already got a good pump in the back, and now it's time to stretch it out at the top and contract at the bottom. Okay guys, the VBar pull-down, or the small grip pull-down, or the narrow grip pull-down, whatever you want to call it. I think, and this is just my opinion, that this is a hybrid in between a row and a pull-down. Officially, it obviously is a pull-down movement, but the contraction I get in the back, especially the lower lats as well, really feels like a rowing movement. So when I go all the way up, I feel the amazing stretch in purely the lats on the side of the body. But when I pull down, it turns a little bit into a row, because as you can see, I rock my body backwards a little bit, allowing me to more easily contract those muscles. Now, don't view this as cheating or using momentum. I'm simply using the positioning of my upper body to more easily get into the muscles that I want to feel. That's a big difference. So everybody who does this exercise first, you simply have to keep your upper body pretty much still. So keep it still without moving back and forth. But if you can't really feel a good contraction after already practicing it for a while, then rocking it like this increases it. And here I'm doing a lighter weight, so just like with the wide grip TBar row, I actually did a few heavy working sets first, and then ending with the lightest working set, allowing to end these compound back movements with a very good pump in the back. Okay guys, the next movement, which will be the last movement of the back, going to be some cable pullovers for the lower lats. And for me, the lower lats can be bigger because my back from the front attaches quite high. So I want to make it attach, well, the attachment you can change, but the muscle mass near the bottom I want to have as big as possible to create an illusion of a lower attached back. So cable pullover is a great one to isolate the lower lats, so let's get started. The cable pullover. I personally, as I mentioned, have to work continuously, all the time, consistently on the lower lats, because every physique is different. A lot of people, well, not a lot, some people have very low attached lats, some have higher attached lats. Think about Nathan Diasha, think about Dennis Wolf, and even myself. The lats from the front look a bit higher. That's a big advantage in some poses, like the front relaxed. In my personal posing routine, the pose, the front of my biceps, looks pretty good because of the wide lats. It offsets. I know it makes the waist look smaller as well, which is a big benefit. And sometimes in the front lats where it looks great. But sometimes you can't really hit the same aesthetic poses as some other people can with lower attached lats. It is simply genetics. But as I always said throughout the years on this channel, you simply shouldn't give up just because you don't have the genetics. You have to maximize what you do have. So the lower lats, they're still there, but you just have to maximize their mass. So I'm doing movements consistently every single back workout where I hit those lower lats. Next one will be a very easy bicep movement, the concentration curl from the bicep peaks. Let's do this. After having done all of those back movements, it's time for some simple bicep movements. So I'm doing the concentration curl here, only showing you one side. So it's kind of boring to show both arms doing a lot of reps. But the concentration curl is one of my favorites, especially when your biceps are feeling a bit sore, not in a good way, but actually in a painful way when doing heavy barbell curls or easy curl barbell curls, anything like this. The concentration curl, the name says it already, allows you to concentrate only on that bicep peak and then slowly lower it, get a full stretch without experiencing the pain. Another big benefit of this is that the weight you have to use is also very light. So there's a lot less systemic fatigue, which means if you use more weight, your whole body would have to work with the biceps to stabilize itself and to help out the bicep because of the heavy weight. But the concentration curl is really focused on only the bicep, so the weight you're using is only directed and isolating that bicep, which reduces systemic fatigue and increases local fatigue, which is exactly what you want. Alright guys, last one is the dumbbell hammer curls, unilaterally, but one arm at a time, so not alternating. Let's do this. Alright, so the final basic bicep movement is the hammer curl, as I mentioned. Just like the concentration curl, basically, a unilateral, not alternating bicep curl to make sure that both arms go to failure at the same spot. And normally I would actually start with the left arm, but because my right arm's distal bicep tendon is a bit irritated, a little inflamed, and I feel a bit of pain in there if I go way too heavy, I start out with that movement, and if I feel too much pain near the end of failure, then I stop before I feel an uncomfortable amount of pain, and then I move on to the left side and match the reps. Trust me guys, getting close to an injury or having some pains anywhere, that is a recipe for imbalances, because you won't want to do as many reps in the injured side, and you do want to do as many reps as you can on the healthy and vigorous side, but that's not what you should do, because then you actually get imbalances. So anyway guys, this was the back workout with some biceps at the end, and I hope you learned something from this workout. Okay, so I actually wanted to show you the post-workout meal, but I already ate it because I was quite hungry, and then you sometimes forget about the camera. But what I ate was very simple. You've guys have seen it quite a lot. Just some golden rice, about 350 grams, cooked of course, some kiwi, 250 grams of white fish, and before that I had a whey isolate shake of 45 grams with some collagen protein as well to help fix the joints, tendons, stuff like this. And also a Turkish bread. This is called a Turkish bread, and it's a small version, and it contains actually, let's see, wow, about 52 grams of carbs per bread. So I have one of those next to my post-workout meal, and that's the first thing I'm going to cut out when I'm going into the prep. And my whole diet will pretty much still be the same, except I'm going to cut out little additions like this that I slowly added to my diet to keep gaining weight, quality weight that is, because as you can see, the definition is still quite there. Obviously not the same as right after a contest, but you shouldn't be that lean in the off-season anyway. So I'm going to show you the entire process of my contest prep for 17 weeks, and I'm very excited about that. And I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.